Boy, talk about a hidden gem. We've got one for you today, folks. It's a garden oasis in the city. Mark, this is really cool because it combines a lot of what you do best, including water and ponds, right?
It does, and this was a fun project to work on.
Now, as far as the homeowner is concerned, they had some challenges, and they even had a bit of a vision for what they wanted to accomplish here. What were the challenges first off?
Where we are standing, this was a perennial garden. In fact, it had a totally different look and feel. Actually, it was surrounded by a white picket fence and had an arbor that you would enter. And the homeowner had dreamed of having the sound of falling waters and a pond just right off of the deck here.
Huh. Interesting. So they kind of had a clue as to what they wanted, but didn't know quite how to get from A to B, right?
Absolutely. The goal was to create a low-maintenance pond and waterfall that you could not only enjoy the view from the deck here, but also hear and appreciate it from inside. And what I promised them that they would be able to do is any of these windows in the back of the house, even the upper second floor there. Yeah, if you just cracked the window a bit, you would be able to hear and enjoy the sounds of the falling waters here.
Now, this is a very unique setting because it is inner city. It is very unique in the fact that we've got falling water here, but talk about what we see out there, can you, Mark?
Oh my goodness. So yes, homeowner is an avid gardener, comes to our home and garden center on a regular basis, and this is one of the most beautiful vegetable gardens that I've seen. So truly shares the passion in gardening with us.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Well, you've done some nice work here. Sandstone for peering into the pond, and how about some of the detail here? Can you help us?
Well, thanks for noticing. We've got a couple of sandstone step pads. The brick path invites the guests as well as the homeowners up to the edge of the pond. And when you've got a garden pond, you want to interact with the fish, and after a few years, you actually can train Japanese koi to eat out of your hand. And so we wanted to allow not only the homeowners, but their guests as well to be able to come up here, get down close and personal with the water as well as the fish.
Now, I asked you when we first got here about the depth of the pond here. You got to keep it at least, what, 30 inches deep?
Yes, and actually we went 36 here. And the importance is that it is that deep so that here in Michiana, when we have those below zero winters, that it doesn't totally freeze solid. The fish, they actually hibernate. They'll go down to the bottom, and if you would come out here during January, you would see them holding just perfectly still. You wouldn't think that they're alive, but they're conserving energy, and that allows them to survive through our very cold winters here in Michiana.
Wow. You know, it's cool that you can keep this going year-round. There's no shutting it off, right?
Absolutely. It is designed to be low maintenance, runs 24/7, 7 days a week, 12 months out of the year. And Craig, the most awesome thing is this will attract birds and wildlife, especially during the winter time when sources of water are really hard to find. And so we are going to be able to see all sorts of birds coming here and getting a drink during the winter time because the water keeps flowing. Another thing is it creates some pretty cool ice formations during winter months as well.
I bet it would. Hey, Mark, you talked about doing some work with the perennials that were already on the property. And what you've also done here in front of us is you've reclaim the soil from the hole that we see here, right?
Well, that is one of our secrets. So when we excavated the pond here, we simply repurposed that soil. So the soil that was excavated here was used to create the berm and the waterfall there.
Man, this is really cool. We'll talk about this gem, huh?
Well, wanted to share with the viewers out there, we've got different aquatic plants throughout here, and not only do they beautify, but they form a benefit as well. Craig, this happens to be a floating water hyacinth, and yes, these are bulbulous here, and they hold air, and so that helps them float. And in the summertime, this actually will get a spike of lavender flowers, reminiscent of a hyacinth. And the coolest thing is the root system here. And what that does is not only cleanse the water, but it oxygenates it, and it's beneficial for the fish there. And these just float on top of the surface. They do spread and multiply. Now these are tropical, and if you don't overwinter them indoors, you do need to add new ones each season.
Yeah, that's a cool concept and a nice touch here in this beautiful looking pond. What else, Mark?
Oh, well, just wanted to share with the viewers out there, and what we did was actually transplant a lot of the existing perennials as well as roses. You see a cluster of the red knockout roses there, yep. And we also have some by me. Those were here originally, just simply got repurposed. I love them because the nonstop blooming. The Monarda, also known as a bee balm, those taller purple flowers, and actually they're attracting bees right now. Those add fragrance to the garden, and those were transplanted as well. In addition to those perennials, we've got a dwarf butterfly bush, which lives up to its name. It is truly a butterfly magnet. It starts blooming in the springtime, blooms the entire summertime, all the way up until frost, and has a very nice sweet fragrance to it.
Excellent, excellent. Well, butterflies, hummingbirds, anything else attracted here?
Well, we wanted to have some winter interest as well.
Okay.
Tucked around the corner is an air conditioner unit, and we wanted to soften and hide that. And so it makes a nice backdrop. We've got a weeping Alaskan cedar, which not only screens the air conditioner, but gives you a nice evergreen backdrop. You really appreciate those red flowering knockout roses in front. We're always wanting to create a nice layered type of look.
Mm-hmm. Mark, on the ground cover, you've chosen stone. Do you always do that when you create a pond?
We do not, and it's really up to our client as what they prefer. And one of the goals here, Craig, was for this to be incredibly low maintenance. Obviously, the homeowner loves gardening and spends a lot of time tending the vegetable garden. Mm-hmm. They just simply wanted to be able to come back here, spend time on the deck, relax, enjoy their hard work, their fresh vegetables, and enjoy the sounds of the waterfall here.
Well, I would say that that's probably one of the misnomers. You think that having something this beautiful requires a lot of work year-round, and who wants to do that? You're saying just the opposite.
We've got this set up right here by me. This is actually a pond skimmer, very similar to a swimming pool that has a skimmer unit, and any floating debris that goes in there, that is collected there, and it traps that. And also we've got a filtration system here, so it keeps the water clean. It's important that you not only have moving water, but you have fish and aquatic plants, and that creates a balanced ecosphere. And with that perfect combination, you're going to be successful with your pond.
So you really have to have all three, is what you're saying.
You do, and another important thing that a lot of people aren't aware of is it needs to get plenty of sunlight. If you think about any ponds that you've seen in the middle of the woods or where it's shaded, it's not a pond. No, it's a swamp.
It's a swamp, and they get murky looking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you want to choose a location that does have plenty of sunlight.
Well, this has a lot of sunlight here, and not only for what we're seeing here, but the garden as well. And lots of great ideas, Mark, for the homeowner who's thinking about maybe doing a little bit something different in their backyard. Still plenty of time to create, right, this summer?
Absolutely. Wanted to share with the viewers some of the other things that we've repurposed here. For spring color, we've transplanted some of the irises, and those have already come into their glory, but that's giving us a splash of color in the springtime. For summer color, we've got the tall garden phlox in both pink and hot lavender color, and those I really like for taking cuttings, bringing them inside. You can do a vase arrangement, and you'll get about a week's of enjoyment indoors as well.
You talk a lot about doing that. In fact, you did that earlier, I think last week, talking about
good memory, Craig.
Bringing things in.
We had some challenges behind us, and you know, behind a house, you've always got some utilities to deal with. We've got these ventilation pipes here, and so what we did was strategically place a hydrangea here, and this hydrangea is going to get to be about 4 feet tall, 4 feet in width, and as that grows and matures, that's going to do a nice job of hiding and screening those utility pipes. We've got a little dwarf gold thread cypress, again for some winter interest. And one of my favorite ornamental grasses is this little dwarf black mondo grass, which features a true black leaf. And the coolest thing is, and it hasn't bloomed yet, is the spikes of flowers. They almost look like orchids, and they're a whopping 4 inches tall.
I am not kidding. Another friend of mine last week said they were on their way to Linton's to pick up some of that black grass again.
Is that right? It's
Yeah.
incredibly rare, but it's very, very special. I love how those black leaves contrast up against the stone.
Now, Mark, if people want to do something like this, again, what are some of the first steps they need to do in terms of getting the ball rolling?
Well, just simply give us a call, or as this homeowner contacted us incredibly early in the springtime, sent me an email and sent me photos of the area and asked if I was interested. And of course, I jumped at the chance. I love doing this.
Yeah, no kidding. Very, very nice. Great job as usual.
Well, thank you, Craig.
Again, folks, if you'd like to find out more, just go to lintons.com, or better yet, stop in and connect with Mark and he'll get you rolling. Creating, again, a garden oasis. It doesn't matter where you live, you can do it right here in Michiana. Much more coming up on our program. Stay with us. We'll be right back.